face, By the time the third person came and tried to tell her the same thing, she went out and she just left. She went to the bathroom. So a lady came and she said, there's a lady in the bathroom crying. I said, why? What's wrong? She said that she didn't want to, because it's another woman, she could tell the woman that she has a condition that makes her use the restroom. And so she wants to stay close to the bathroom, how to run out, And she can't start telling everybody
business.
Health. Yeah, exactly. So I explained to the woman to please help us beg the lady that we understand that will not happen again. But we now use it as an example to show people because you're trying to follow, even though you were nice. You didn't, it wasn't as bad as what you just explained. Right. But still, 3 people coming to, no matter how nice you say it, she cannot be saying, okay, this is why I want to stay here now.
I say it 3 times. If this one goes, I'm doing this, so yeah, that's kind of embarrassing.
So those are other things they need to be sensitive about, and for them to. So those are examples that just to let them know that you're doing your job, or you're doing it not excessively, not with strong hands, not because we don't want to be fighting to bring members, and then you are now, another issue too. Sometimes that comes up in the front row, all around. We don't let ladies with short skirts. So because sometimes they forget that they are sitting in the front row, and then in our church we now have upper level gallery also. So directly in front of the preacher. So we don't let ladies, or we nicely will bring. We have our administration cloths that when a minister is ministering, the ushers, I don't know if you have that also, but we have this cloth that we use to cover the ladies in case they are under the anointing. Yeah. So that's what we take to them and tell them to please help us cover up their legs. But what we'll now do is, instead of a man, we'll make sure a lady, another lady that will go and talk to the lady and say, oh, please, sorry. And if she says, whatever, we say, oh, well, sorry, you can't sit in this area. If she says she doesn't want to, that's the one we don't compromise. So whether she is angry or not, we don't compromise on that one. The only other time sometimes that we've had issue with that is a lady went and now reported to the pastor that when I was leaving my house, my husband didn't say anything wrong about how I dressed. Why would the usher now be telling me that the way I dress is not good? And that I know how much I pay in tithes in this church. Pastor says he's now calculating the tithe in his head, but the lady, pastor they left. She said, yeah, they left the church. But so you just, no matter the tithe that you bring, you can't now use that to. I mean, what they're saying is, it's not anything wrong. The way you're dressed, you're not dressed properly. It's not, and you're not a new Christian. You're not. Yeah, but she said, if my husband didn't say anything about me, why would you guys be complaining about how I dress? To her, she's making sense, but to us, spiritually, that's not. So you might come up, in some of those. I pray it doesn't come up, but just to be prepared and to how do you handle that? So come up with your folks, and they know how to handle that situation. Escalate. Sometimes we have older people, elders. We have quite a few number of elders, grandmamas, grandpapas. We have a section for them, elder section. So whenever we have an issue with any of them, we use the elder head to handle them, because those ones, it's like, that's where I want to sit. You cannot move them. So instead of us, because of our Nigeria upbringing, we say we don't want to be arguing with the elder and stuff like that. We'll just let us know, escalate it to the lead of the day. So all the ushers, they have a lead. So that lead is always one person, or not necessarily the HOD, but each service will have a lead that is responsible. That person will go to an elder and say, please help us handle Mrs. This or Mrs. That, or Mr. This or Mr. That. They will now go and move that person for us. So that way it's elder to elder. And we still look good. But ushering is, Sometimes you smile, they say you smile too much. Sometimes you don't smile, they say you don't smile. Sometimes you dress, they say your dressing is too much. You know, we have all kinds of talk. People will always usher this, usher that, and we've had the issues now. The ushers they're responsible for carrying money, but they don't convey it by themselves. So I don't know what your setup is from the accounting to the ushers. So it's always a protocol and an ushering person together handling money at any time, just moving from one place to the other. And so that way, because we've had issues where sometimes, one time, we just found out that because they called me and they said, the accounting department, they said they don't understand how they are not, people saying they are not depositing their checks. So they're like, what is wrong? So I said, it's not too hard, no. If somebody steals offering ball, so to speak, they won't take the checks because the checks, somebody will be able to know if you go and deposit it or not. So they will do the cash, and then whatever is checked, they will throw. So sometimes you will have congregants, they will say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you guys have not cashed my check, what's going on? So we now orchestrated something. We found out that there was an usher that was helping herself to, so it happens sometimes. So it's something to keep in mind.
So the one protocol, one usher will handle the collecting of the